Good morning, everybody. Orange J here with another War of the Visions video, and today we're going to talk about Global's newest selection quest unit, Rafale. I'll probably just call her Rafi because I like that. I like the sound of that a little bit. But we're going to talk about, is she worth building? What is she supposed to do? Because I think it's a little weird. Her kit is kind of awkward if you've looked at it yet. So I'm going to give you my opinions on, where she's going to fit into this game, if it's worth doing her selection quest at all, and all of that. And I'm going to do it in part by comparing her to our other global main job assassin unit that we have, and that's Vinera. So I'm going to start this video like I start a lot of my unit preview videos, which is a straight up stat comparison. And I actually think stat pool to stat pool, these are pretty interestingly similar. Now, I think that's kind of bad for old Rafi because Vinera is an old unit. She's been in this game for a long time. So if there's a brand new unit coming out who is comparable statistically to one of our original units, that's a little rough to me. But let's look at it a little bit deeper than that. HP wise, Rafi's sitting at 3102 compared to Vinera's 2977, so a little more HP, but Vinera has significantly more attack, 595 compared to 555. And for an assassin, the implication with an assassin is they're going to assassinate people. So they need some damage to be able to do that. Now, one area where Rafi really gains an advantage is agility. 68 is significantly better than 62. I really like that. But she has less luck. So if you're looking at evasion, it's probably a toss-up. It's a toss. I'm just going to say it's about a toss-up base stat-wise. Rafi does gain some spirit to Vinera's nothing there. And then you can see the resist. Vinera, very resistant to slash. Rafi's only a 5. Weak to pierce, weak to strike, decent against missile, and then that 15 magic resist. I really want to hone in here on the 4 spirit and 15 magic resist, because when we're talking about this new unit, I think she's almost meant to be this weird mix of an assassin who can dodge with an anti-magic bruiser, and I think her kit will make sense for that. So let's go actually look at her kit and what we're getting with her. And I want to start off by mentioning her TMR. Now, first of all, is it worth building this unit? Look, any selection quest that you can clear is worth clearing because there's 100 of both elemental fragments of thought and elemental awakening prisms that you get to farm for free every month if you can clear the selection quest. So it is in-game content because you really have to be an account that's boosted some MR or less units, but once you do it, that's a lot of elemental materials that will help you unlock more of your units later, so it's worth it for that. I also think she's worth getting to level 99 for this TMR. I think it's pretty dang good. It's an armor, 312 HP, which is a little low, but 14 spirit and 3 agility. I don't hate that stat line. And then the buff is pretty good. Vow of Vengeance, it's a 3-turn self buff, 40% attack increase, and 25% agility increase for 3 turns for yourself. I think this is moderately good in PvP, and I think it's very good in PvE, where things like getting more damage and tuning your agility is very, very important for getting high scores on bosses. So her TMR is not trash. It's probably worth putting some pots into to level if you need it for some, in-game PvE later. Her master ability, she gets the basic ice HP and attack, but then she gets attack plus 20%. This will help close that gap between her and Vinera a little bit, so I like that, just straight up more attack. And then she's a move 4 and jump 2. Now, if we go to her skills, okay, here's where I think you're going to start to see what she's kind of meant to do and where the comparison to Vinera makes sense. Now, let's look here. Here's her assassin evasion move, right? Evasion up, which by itself gives 15 evade. Okay, that's pretty cool. If we go over to Vinera, she also has that, but Vinera's gets boosted to Shadowclad, which gives her 12% more HP, making her an evasion unit who's also a little bit tankier. If we go to Rafi, she gets more luck in her evasion upgrade, which will make her more evasive. I think evasion up that turns into Dark Moon Shroud right here, I think this is a really dang good move. This is her best support job and her best support ability. And if you want her to evade, you're going to want to equip that. Then I think her support moves get weird, and let's look at them. She has Mind Body Unity. This is from her Blade Soul sub-job, which is a really weird sub-job on an assassin. It gives her spirit and HP. If, though, you want to build her as an anti-mage who can dodge but also take a hit or two, this is maybe worth considering. Running spirit and HP will make you, tankier. Then she has acquired AP up, just like Vinera has. She does have range +1 from her sniper sub. Then she has an agility and spirit penetration buff. This one, it blows my mind. It's weird because like the agility seems really good. And I bet you the first time you see this, you're like, oh, more agility? I think I want that. And if you're going for a straight up evasion build, maybe you would, but she will get nothing from this spirit penetration. Her moves, she's an attack-based unit, and like if we look at her stats, I'm gonna put this back on the screen here. She has a magic base of 106. 106. So her AI is going to choose to use attack-based skills because she's going to have 1,000-ish attack in a well-built group. So she's never going to take advantage of the spirit penetration, I don't think. Then she also has Sniper Mastery, which is a missile attack and luck buff. If you're running her sub-sniper, the more luck will help you dodge, and then the missile attack will help your missile skills hit pretty hard. But I don't love the sniper sub-job on her. We'll get to that in a little bit. Okay, counter moves. She has Dark Shadow. This is all damage counter, 20% evasion rate up on herself with a CT buff. Really not bad. She has Preemptive Revenge, which is a 1 range, counter attack before you're attacked, like a pre-counter attack. Then she also has Counter Smoke, which I really like on evasion units. It's an accuracy debuff on the person attacking you before they attack you, and it's a 30% chance to proc. So I kind of like Counter Smoke there. Those are pretty good. For an evasion unit, they're pretty good. Okay, her main job. What is she getting from her assassin job that's any good? Poison Sting, we all know what that is. Cheap, basic ranged move, easy to use. Pillaging Blade has it's the steel, right? So you want to like maybe farm turtles with her, something like that. She has Heavenly Blade, the little AoE point-based move that upgrades to Heavenly Wrath. So let's look at this upgrade right here. What it does, it debuffs the AoE resistance of the enemy by 30 for 3 turns, does 165% damage, and guarantees a crit, plus 100% hit chance. This will be a very hard-hitting move with that AoE resistance debuff added in. So I do like this move. It gives her a nice, maybe she can close the gap on a couple people and annihilate them. Pretty neat. I like that move. Armor Cleaver, this is a defense debuff with 210% damage, super hard hitting. Condemning Blade is 175% with Doom attached to it, don't really love that. And then Shadowless Blade, this will give her a defense penetration buff of 40 and then deal 165% damage. Note the thing here, and this is where you can see like her main job's damage combo in my opinion. I believe she's meant to buff herself on turn 1, then on like turn 2 or 3, like when she's at range, she's gonna want to use this move. It has a range of 4 on it. Will give her the defense penetration that she's gonna need to assassinate people. Does nice damage. Then if they live, she closes the gap and use something like Heavenly Wrath or Armor Cleaver to finish them off. I think that's gonna be her little like combo there. Okay, what about her assassin sub-job? She has Paralyze, she has the Paralyze move Bind, she has another defense debuff when attacking from behind that debuffs by 50, that's significant, then 175% damage, then she has Seize AP. So she does not have access to something though that Vinera has. If we go back to Vinera right here, one thing that makes Vinera so good, because Vinera 100% still viable in a like dark evasion group today, is Vinera has a lot of really hard-hitting moves right here, right in her main job, but then she has this Thief sub, right, which gives her like, oh look, she has Steal Time. That makes her super viable in PvE. Then she has Shadowcast, a 42 evasion buff for herself for 3 turns. Like just those things right there make Thief Subjob Vinera a super viable evasion unit. And then for PvE, she also has a 3-hit dark slashing attack. So like she steals time, boom, chainer whenever you need her to be a chainer. Rafale lacks all of that, right? Yes, they both do have a gunner subjob, but dual gunner looking a little bit sexier to me than Rafi's sniper sub. I'll get to her sniper sub in a minute. There is a plus to it. Okay. Now, bladesoul sub. I know this is kind of all over the place, but she has bladesoul sub. First of all, bladesoul scales 120% off of magic. So just take all of these moves right here and throw them in the trash. She's never going to use them. You're never going to want to use them, I don't think. They're not any good. But she does have Sword Song Formation, which is a slash attack and critical hit rate buff. The slash attack buff is for her allies, the critical rate buff is for herself. That's decent, so you could run it for that. I think, though, the reason you would run bladesoul sub is if you're going for more of an anti-magic bruiser build. She gets Banishing Barrier. This is a 3,500 HP barrier that she can cast on herself 2 times. So if she doesn't dodge a magic attack, it's essentially 3,500 more HP that she's stacking up, and this will prevent her from getting one-shot. This is something that's very important for evasion units. Sometimes they don't dodge, and when they don't dodge, if they die, uh-oh, they're toast. If they have a way of surviving, like an oops button, right? Like for Starlight Elena, it's a courage buff. Oh, she didn't dodge, but it's Starlight Elena and she had courage. Now she has more chances to dodge. She might just troll the enemy team the rest of the time. So I think Rafi here can perform that, but probably only in an anti-magic group. So there you go. Keep that in mind. I think Banishing Barrier and Sword Song Formation are the 2 things you're getting out of bladesoul. The Sniper sub job gives her a different damage type, which is relevant, right? She has Slow Shot, Arm Shot, and Dispel Spread. And these are pretty good, right? Like Arm Shot with the Disable, don't discount that. Slow Shot with the Agility debuff, that's decent for PvE and PvP. Okay, those are pretty good. Dispel Spread does give her an AoE move, so it's not the worst thing ever, but I think what you really want from the Sniper sub is this Defense Pin 40 buff for herself and the +1 range increase buff. She can use it twice. This plus her attack that has another 40 defense pin puts her at 80, and now we're seeing an assassination potential here, right? So I think that's the big prize here. She does also have an attack buff with Nether Beast Killer on it, for herself and her allies. And then, like all Selection Quest units, no limit break. So, if I'm comparing her, like, apples to apples with Vinera, I think Vinera is probably a better unit than Rafi is. Okay, the caveat here is I've been down on some Selection Quest units before, and I learned my lesson with Camilo. Because I looked at Camilo and I was like, meh, what, Camilo, like, what's this guy gonna do? And every time I've seen Camilo, he's overperformed my expectations. So he's actually a really dang good unit. And I don't think Rafi's gonna suck. I just don't think she's gonna be like an A+ to S tier unit. And I don't think she's gonna be as good of an evader or as good of a killer as Vinera is, but against mages, against teams where she needs spirit, magic resist, I think she can be built as a unit that can get some clutch dodges as well as survive some hits. So that's where I think she fits in. Let me know what you think. That's just me, like, looking at her kit. I haven't seen a ton of stuff on her. I think she's not a super popular unit over in JP, but my feel for JP's meta waxes and wanes. I'll put it like that. I just haven't seen a lot from her. So that's the video, y'all. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a great New Year's, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.